good, everybody? Welcome to another video. Today, as you can see by the title, I'm going to be talking about sin and just our struggles with that and how we can combat it and overcome it. And hopefully, this video helps you out at the end of the day. I'm going to be reading Romans 7 and coming out of that passage today towards the end of the chapter. This is Paul's writing, a disciple of God. As we know, he was a strong man of God. He was a disciple. He was always preaching the word. He was even in prison for it. So for him to talk about his struggle with sin, I think is very powerful because it shows no matter where you are as a believer on your walk in your journey with Christ, it's still a struggle and it's still an attack on all of us because we are humans. So he starts off in verse 14 by saying, "So the trouble is not with the law, for it is spiritual and good. The trouble is with me, for I am all too human, a slave to sin. I don't really understand myself, for I want to do what is right, but I don't do it. Instead, I do what I hate. But if I know that what I'm doing is wrong, this shows that I agree that the law is good. So I am not the one doing wrong. It is sin living in me that does it. And I know that nothing good lives in me. That is in my sinful nature. I want to do what is right, but I can't. I want to do what is good, but I don't. I don't want to do what is wrong, but I do it anyway. But if I do what I don't want to do, I am not really the one doing wrong. It is sin living in me that does it. I have discovered this principle of life, that when I want to do what is right, I inevitably do what is wrong. I love God's law with all my heart, but there is another power within me that is at war with my mind. This power makes me a slave to sin that is still within me. Oh, what a miserable person I am. Who will free me from this life that is dominated by sin and death? Thank God the answer is Jesus Christ our Lord. So you see how it is. In my mind, I really want to obey God's law, but because of my sinful nature, I am a slave to sin. So what really stands out to me is two things. The first one I'm going to talk about is the war in his mind, and also about doing the things that you don't want to do and not doing the things that you want to do. These things go hand in hand because we are at war in our minds every single day. It's like when you wake up, there's something telling you to hit that snooze button. There's something telling you to call off from work. There's something telling you to not go to the gym. And that's like your flesh. You crave, comfort and pleasure. And because of those things, sometimes we could be lazy or just stagnant or content with where we are in life. And that, that other driving force of your mind that's like, I want to go get it. I want to work hard. I want to go do these things to better myself. I want to spend time with God. It's like they're butting heads. So we see Paul talking about that. And this is a common case with everybody. But the main thing we can do to combat this is, first of all, you got to stack up little wins. And that sounds kind of cliche, but literally, like, wake up and make your bed. Wake up and get out of the bed right away. Go to the gym if you told yourself you're going to do it. Like, follow suit on the actions that you tell yourself in your mind, and then that voice becomes more powerful. Because if you, like I said before, like if you tell yourself you're gonna wake up early and go to the gym and you don't do it, your word means nothing to you. So you're losing that battle in your mind. So we have to start small and continue to stack up those wins. But literally, when you just do the things that you tell yourself to do and deny the part of you that wants to be comfortable and wants that quick sense of pleasure or wants to be lazy, that is gonna follow suit in times when you are tempted or you're going through a trial. So we also have to realize where Satan falls into this, because obviously Satan is a deceiver. He's the enemy. Satan's main focus of us sinning is to get us to separate from God. So when our eyes are off God, that's when he's already winning. And so we have to, first of all, stop focusing on not sinning and start focusing on loving God and spending time with God and building our relationship with him and reading the word. Because when you are in God's presence and you are constantly consuming, his word that's truth and life, it's going to be so much harder to sin because you are surrounding yourself with things that are building you up, with things that are speaking life into you, and that are building an appetite for good and not evil. So first of all, you got to keep your mindset on God. Keep your relationship with God at the highest tier, the most important thing in your life. And the rest of your actions will follow suit with that. And once you tell yourself, okay, I need to read, I'm going to read, like making your bed, you know what I'm saying? I need to listen to worship music right now. I need to fill my spirit up, you know what I'm saying? Then that's when it starts to roll over into that. So keep your mindset on God and not sin. And when you are tempted, you have something to fall back on. And also, you got to recognize that Satan doesn't just pull, this huge scheme to get you into this big trap with no setup. It's always a setup. It's always something building up to it. It's like a snowball. It starts with what we deem as a smaller sin, even though it's all sin, right? And then it continues to roll over as time goes on. And now you find yourself in a situation that you shouldn't be in, or doing something that you know you should not have been doing. But it started when you just looked at that girl, right? Or it started when you just decided to hang with those people. And then all of a sudden, now you're in a sticky situation that is causing you to sin. So watch out for those traps. Like we talked about last video, watch out for those traps, because that's how the devil can get you, just slightly off the path, just separated from God. He's content with that because you're less powerful when you're not walking in your purpose. I recently listened to a sermon by Dr. Miles Monroe, and he talked about how purpose, potential, and principle all follow suit with each other. So if you think about like any product, right? Like say a speaker, you buy a speaker from like Best Buy, and the speaker has like the purpose and the potential to, amplify your music, make it louder, play music, but it has to be connected to a source of energy, electricity, right? It has to plug in somewhere, or something like that has battery power, has to be charged. So that is the principle for the speaker, right? And usually, like when you buy products, it comes with a manual, it comes with a word. You see what I'm getting at? So us, we were created by God, right? He has given us his word as the instruction manual, right? You see what I'm getting at? We have the purpose and potential to do whatever he has called us to do. It's unique to each person. But the principle is this, right? The principle is his word. The principle is, living in ways that he has called us to do. And once we do it our own way, and once we fall away from that, then we don't have the ability to walk in the purpose and to live up to the potential that God has called us to do. So, going back to what I said before, the relationship is the highest of importance in your life, because that is when you're filled with the word, when you're filled with his presence. That's when you have the ability to walk on that path and fulfill that potential. So at the end of the day, we realize from Paul's example that we are never going to be perfect. No matter how hard we try, we're not God, we're not Jesus. We don't have the ability to be sinless because we are humans. And although we are filled with the Spirit, there are going to be times where we fall and we are tempted and we give in to sin because it's our nature as humans. So our goal is to really focus on God and make our love for God and our fear and reverence for the Lord and relationship with him the biggest factor in our lives. And as you do that, as you continue to walk that out, you become more aligned with the values and the morals and a heart, an inner man like God, and you start to reflect God. And what is God? Sinless, right? So as we grow, that is our goal. Keeping our eyes fixed on God is the most important thing. Working towards perfection, knowing we can't be there, but making progress. I'm taken back by this journey. I'm loving it so far. I continue to see, God speaking to me through other people in the ways that you guys encourage and, give me wisdom in the comments. Subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you for spending time watching the video today. I hope you got something from this word and you can go and apply that to your life. So thank you. Have a good rest of your day. I appreciate y'all. Bye bye.